Speaking of history, one man is using his love for our area's history to help him with his new career. Lisa Sugart has the story.
I'm very pleased to have back in our studios again our dear friend Charles McElwee. You know him as the Vice President of the Board of Directors for the Greater Hazleton Historical Society and Museum. And today he's here in a new capacity, recently starting a brand new job in New York City. He is the Assistant Editor for the Manhattan Institute's City Journal and writing great articles for them. So, but you're still keeping your ties back to this area and still involved with the Historical Society. So I guess, first of all, congratulations on your new position.
Thank you. It was a wonderful opportunity, and that really all goes back to writing for the Standard Speaker.
Absolutely. So he's always been known for contributing here and at the Standard Speaker, talking about what you know best, which is the area, the towns. You're doing that now, and a brand new article just came out too that helps you kind of use what you've learned here for there.
Yes, so I wrote an article recently called In Defense of Hometowns, and it was about a recent study released by the Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia that found that Americans are witnessing the lowest rate of mobility, moving to other places, really ever recorded. And the study more or less lamented this statistic, but if you even think of like 1908 when Henry Ford came out with the Model T, people were not moving beyond 12 miles of where they lived because they did not have access to cars. And then moving on, we saw this transition, the economy expanded, towns grew, rural areas somewhat declined, but people still maintained allegiance to their hometown. And I think that's a good thing. And I think that contrary to what the study found, that's important to embrace one's hometown, to set roots and to help one's community. And I use Hazleton as an example of that. So the article initially ran a City Journal, and then it was published by the Philadelphia Inquirer the recent Sunday. So, but yeah, so that's very important. And I also had a recent piece called Community Dies in Darkness about the importance of supporting local journalism and how local newspapers really, it's the foundation for bringing a community together. And without a local newspaper, you really don't have anything. As so many fraternal organizations struggle, as churches struggle, really the last thread binding a community together is a local newspaper where people can turn to see not only photos in the paper of family, friends, or perhaps find opportunities. They also see the obituaries. I mean, all those things are lost when the local newspaper folds, so that's important to support. And this is all online, but City Journal is a quarterly magazine, and it goes back to about 30 years ago, started in New York City, published by the Manhattan Institute, a think tank, and it has since transitioned to a national magazine focused on urban policy, politics, and culture. I've been writing for them for the past few years, but I started there this past April.
Well, you're doing a fantastic job. So tell us, though, your life has changed drastically, too, from living here in the Hazleton area or the Cunningham community or down in the Hershey area. So make the comparison. You've really gone from night to day or day to night.
No, I'll take Cunningham over New York, I'll be frank. No, I mean, the Main Street's more my vibe. And I love the Valley, I love the Hazleton area, I've loved it my whole life. So, and yeah, I look forward to coming back often and being in Hershey, too. So yeah, I moved to Hoboken in April, which I look out to Sinatra Park. So yeah, you could see the murals and other things. You would think there'd be more tributes to Sinatra in Hoboken, but so I'm living across the river, make the miserable commute into the city, into Midtown. But yeah, it's a wonderful place to work.
So your biggest, I guess, problem right now is that you don't have a car when you're living there. How is adjusting to that?
That's the biggest adjustment. I was so conditioned to driving, so now I'm at the mercy of buses, trains, Ubers, just the transportation costs of Metro New York. But that's the case for everyone.
So would you say people take this area for granted that live here, like they don't appreciate what we really have?
Well, I think that's the case for, it's always perspective, no matter where you live. You can find the drawbacks, you can find the positives. But yes, I mean, to live in the Valley, to live I was on Butler Avenue in Cunningham, and I love my routines in the town and going to the Brass Buckle. And I wrote about that in the Hometowns piece. And Joe Longo, a local photographer, he graciously took some photos on a deadline. We had to get the article in, but he took these beautiful photos of Main Street, the Valley, Hazleton, and the Inquirer ended up picking them up and publishing them in the current section of the Sunday paper. So I definitely like to keep that local flavor. Hazleton's the foundation for everything really in my life, and that's why I'll look forward to writing about it really forever.
Well, if people watching want to follow you and stay up to date with what you're doing, what's the best way to see your articles and to see what you're up to? Yeah,
so you can follow me on Twitter at CF McElwee, and also visit City Journal, www.city-journal.org. We have daily posts, we have daily articles, essays from politics to culture to urban issues, and I also write for the magazine as well. So stay tuned there, and you can also check out my work elsewhere, like the American Conservative, and just stay tuned for future articles that will, I'm sure I'll be talking about Hazleton too.
All righty. I get those emails all the time telling me what you're up to right here. So sign up for the emails and follow what Charles is up to. But remember, still going to stay close to this area, Absolutely. Still involved with the Greater Hazleton Historical Society Museum, because you're not giving that up.
No, of course not. And please support the Historical Society. And our website there is hazletonhistory.org, and we still have the Facebook page. So yeah, definitely support the museum. It's still the largest collection of artifacts really in the region.
All right, well, congratulations to you. We're glad to see a local guy make good, and we know he has never and will never forget his roots.